Hi guys, welcome to the second night of the reading slash productivity sprints for the Evil A Thon. Olivia just joined us. Hello, Olivia.
Hello.
I'm joined by Lizzie, Hannah, and Olivia. You probably know them. I've been in their sprints, they've been on mine before. And we're just here to be productive. So let us know in the comments what books are you going to be reading or which other things are you going to be doing tonight. So now let's go to the introduction round. So Lizzie, if you would introduce yourself and let us know what you're doing tonight.
Hi everyone, my name's Lizzie. My channel is Bombadil's Bookish Things, and I'm reading to start off with Belladonna. Hannah and I are buddy reading this, so we've got 23 pages to read.
23 pages, yeah. Prologue and first two chapters.
So that'll be pretty quick. And then I'm picking up Little Lies by Samantha Schweblin,
Fantastic.
because Hannah read this last month and enjoyed it. And it's kind of short, so I'm gonna give it a go and see what I think. And it's creepy, so
yeah. I recently bought that. I'm really excited about that one. I'm really excited. So Hannah, would you introduce yourself and let us know what you're doing today?
Yeah, so I'm Hannah. I've put letter M at the bottom so people can go and find me. I will also be reading my Belladonna chapters. Like I said, only 23 pages. But then I also have Silver Nitrate that I need to read the first 20 pages of, because that is for the Gothic Along that I'm hosting on my Discord. I then have other things that I also need to read 20 pages of, such as Cherry Robbers and the Dangerous Arts and Gifts of Dolores Mackenzie, which is a lunar pick. So I've got options. I'm hoping to read at least 20 pages of each of these this evening. And then if I'm really cheeky, I might start and finish this one.
Is that like a special edition of Silver Nitrate? I've never seen that cover before.
Yeah,
I only know the red cover.
Yeah, you know, Illumicrate do their Everlight,
yeah.
or whatever it's called, their new horror box. This was their first book, and for those who haven't seen, the sprayed edge is like all like scratchy, and then they've got spooky dogs in the edges, and then genuinely the nicest foiled cover I've ever seen.
That's beautiful.
I will be treating this very gently as I read it, but I have put my post-it notes in it, so I know where I need to get up to at the end of each week. So, yeah. But I read Silver Mara Garcia really slowly. So chances are that 20 pages will take an entire sprint or two. So,
yeah,
I'm gonna start with Belladonna because, like Lizzie said, I think that'll be quicker.
Okay, Olivia, would you introduce yourself? Let us know what you're doing tonight.
I'm Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Catastrophe, and I'm going to finish Everything the Darkness Eats by Eric LaRocca. I've got 40 pages left, and it just reads very, very quickly, like all of their books do. So I'm going to finish that, and then I actually don't know what I'm going to read next. So I will have to decide while I'm finishing that book.
Okay, if there's options, we can vote.
Yes, I'll bring whatever options I find.
Okay, so I think I am read a little bit of Five Survive by Holly Jackson because I'm trying to read it before Yelk. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I have a train ride also, so maybe. So I'm going to read a little bit of this because I was reading the other day and I only made it to like 100 pages, and it's when things are kind of starting to get interesting. Like this, people are now trapped in an RV and there is a sniper and they don't know what's going on and how to get out of there. They don't have any phone like service or anything, so they're literally trapped in the RV. I don't know if you guys have read this one or not.
I haven't, but I really enjoy the books that I have read of Holly Jackson, so I need to get to it.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I love when people get trapped somewhere and somewhere is out to get them and you don't know what's going on. Like, I love that. And I hope to start The House in the Woods by Yvette Fielding, which is a middle grade, I think.
That's one of my options. That's one of my options for what I should read.
Because she's also in Yelk, so I have book 1 and 2, and I'll probably pick up book 3 at Yelk because it just came out. So I wanted to meet her, and I got this book actually last year at Yelk, and I still haven't read it, which is embarrassing, but the story of my life. So I want to read it to at least, have read a book before I go meet her. So hopefully, between today and the train ride, I can finish this once before Yelk. So that's my plan for tonight. I think today I will be doing 3 sprints of like 40 minutes. so it doesn't get too late because it's 1 hour ahead for me. So let's see how much I get done. Let's quickly check the comments now. Say hello to everybody. Ready and waiting. Let us know what you're reading or doing. Hello. Well, let us know your options. We will decide for you. Okay. Let's see. Too many options as usual. Okay, Atlas 6, Virgin Suicides, Bunny. These are so different though.
Hasn't Celine been reading Shadow of the Wind for a very long time?
Yeah, I feel like everyone that picks it up takes 100 years to read it, to be fair. I feel like it's a rite of passage at this point.
It doesn't
That's what I've never...
Yeah. It doesn't take you 100 years if you DNF it like I did.
I haven't even picked it up because so many people that I know have either taken so long to read it they're like, I'm just a completionist. I'm like, I didn't care about it. Or they just DNF'd it. That I'm like, I don't need to. I don't need to because I know I'm not going to enjoy it. So
that's why I've never started it, I think. Sometimes when I see those chunky books and it's like a genre or a type of book that I'm unsure about, then I'm more hesitant to pick it up because it's a big commitment for something that I'm not sure of.
That's fair.
Yeah. Okay. People are rooting for Shadow of the Window. So we'll see. That might work.
I kind of want to try the Atlas 6.
Yeah.
I know Hannah told me not to, but...
Well, it's not just that I told you not to. I did also send you the first page.
That's true.
And you said absolutely not. And then I said that, like, at that point, I had read I think I in the end read 3 chapters past the prologue to see if there was anything different. And there was 1 out of the 6 different voices that I actually liked reading from. And when I spoke to someone about it, they were like, oh yeah, they have like the fewest number of chapters. And I was like, no, like immediately I don't care anymore. So to be fair, you went in eyes wide open with that rejection.
That's true. But then I read the young adult, but actually sometimes cross genre, like it's not the same. Like I recently DNF'd a middle grade book from an author who's young adult I really love. So maybe it's just like, maybe that's just not the Olivia Blake book. I don't know.
I didn't enjoy Atlas 6 either, though. Like, at all. I had a very strong feeling that it was trying too hard to be something that it just isn't. Like, it was trying too hard with the pretentious nature of, like, dark academia. And, like, it just sucked me out every single time. Because I was like, there were certain bits I was like, this could be really good. Oh, you've ruined it because you remember it's meant to be pretentious. Like, as like a genre, dark academia is kind of pretentious because it is what it is. It just felt a bit too much like a pick-me book. I don't know. I got really frustrated with the writing style of the narrative, but I don't know. Maybe I'll like other Olivia Blake stuff, but I'm not running.
It didn't feel authentic, right? It didn't feel like the person who was writing this has a wide vocabulary and therefore is using it to articulate things in a over enunciated kind of way or a convoluted way, because like, you know, when like you read I was about to say, you know, when you read some essays, and I was like, yeah, because that's the thing you guys do for fun, but like if you went to uni and you had to like find references for things, and you would find certain essays were kind of written to train you to read an essay kind of thing, and some were written to just show off how like smart they are. It was like it was trying to do that, but because it hadn't actually got the foundations of what the purpose of that is, it felt like a waste of time. And I think the thing for me is a polar opposite example is the love hypothesis, because the love hypothesis has loads of really interesting science in it, and it has a lot of procedure in it, and it doesn't matter. I trust that Ali Hazelwood knows what she's talking about, and I trust that the characters know what they're talking about. I don't have to understand the science of it. I can just enjoy the story because I trust that Ali Hazelwood has that background. I did not believe that Olivia Blake had any idea like how a university structure or school structure like that would work. Which is really interesting because I don't think it's always necessarily they actually have that background. I think sometimes you can fake experience with knowledge, which is a phrase that I have used multiple times in the last 2 months, that you can absolutely fake that. Because I recently finished Madam by Phoebe Wynne. Phoebe Wynne is an ex-teacher. She has taught at a variety of different schools and taught classics and Latin. And I thought that was the worst representation of a teacher ever. I thought the teachers in that book were terrible. So she's got experience as a teacher. She knows what a good teacher or a bad teacher looks like. She's still, in my mind, got it wrong, which I think is really interesting. So I think it just depends. Maybe give it a go if you want, but do it in a way that it isn't going to cost you any money, because I think it'll be a waste of your time.
I will listen. I know my library has it, so maybe I'll listen to the first 3 chapters. And then if I like it, I can get a physical copy. If I don't like it, then I haven't done any damage.
No.
Let's see. Hello, the people. Whoops. Let's see. You have 3 books on the go, so let's pick the one about a murder. Yes,
I love that.
That's
love
a
that
good
choice.
choice. Yes. Love a good book about murder. Who doesn't? Always go for murder. Right, reading. Let's see. The Earth Transformed. I don't know which book it is. Anybody?
I bet it's a geography book. I bet
It
well, I
is.
know Abby's doing loads of nonfiction. Unfortunately, because I'm a terrible friend, I've still got Abby's TBR video sat in my to be watched list. But I'm sure it'll be some kind of nonfiction.
Little Lies. Nonfiction November. I see it. I understand. I should read more nonfiction. Hello, Sharon. Secret Faces. Oh, Kellen Patrick Burke. That's a good one. I like Kin by Kellen Patrick Burke. If anybody likes Texas Chainsaw Massacre, pick up that book.
Interesting.
Good evening. Hello, Andreas. Wow. Look, Sharon is going to make it better. 2 chapters. That's all.
I've received the message.
Oh, no.
The thing is, what's wild to me is when it came out, so many people loved it. So many people loved it. And people were talking about the romance and the intrigue and this, that, and the other. And I was like, why? I don't get it. And I wonder if it was just a case of it was shortly after If We Were Villains had reached its height that book came out. And I wonder if it's just a case of people were like, I need more. I don't care if it's good dark academia. I just want more of it. I want pretentious kids who may or may not kill each other.
But
I do also wonder though if it, because obviously they took things out and they changed things from the indie version. So I do wonder if when it was still an indie published book, if it was better. I don't know. There's a little part of me that thinks maybe there were certain things in it that were then changed because it was being traditionally published that could have made a difference, because I know loads of people talking about it before it was actually traditionally published. So who knows? Maybe it's also that.
Personally, I think if you are going to take something that's indie published and make it traditionally published, just don't change anything. There's a reason why they loved it. If it's a fanfic, okay, change the names, but that's it. That's all you need to change.
And spelling errors.
But I do think also that the crowd that seem to love it do seem to be the Twilight Sarah J. Maas people. So I'm wondering if it's that tone of I don't know how to put it, that tone of vibe into dark academia. And then that's why some people like it. I haven't read it, so do I actually know what I'm talking about? No.
Those are the best kinds of opinions. One's based in absolutely nothing on my favorite kinds of opinions.
I haven't read Dark Academia in a while, and I should, but I was really burned by how was it called? Lee Bardugo, the Ninth
House.
Yes. I was really excited. Everybody loved it. The book looked amazing. And then I forced myself through it. I shouldn't have done that. I should have DNF'd it because I was not enjoying myself. and I finished it, and I still hated it.
Oh, that's a shame. I actually, controversially, I really like that one. I was really excited.
Many people loved it, but I don't know, it just didn't work.
What didn't you like about it?
I just couldn't connect with the characters. I couldn't care less what they were doing, or I got slightly confused about what was going on at times, and I was just pulled out of the story. And when that starts to happen, I start to enjoy myself. Like when I'm either not relating to the characters, or there some things are going on that I'm a little bit confused about, then I tend to just be pulled out of the story, and it's hard then to get back and enjoy it.
No,
and it just gets worse as I keep on reading it.
Yeah. I've got a video planned that I want to do next year. I want to compare, because obviously you're going to get the third book from Crescent City is coming out next year. My plan is to reread the first two and to reread Ninth House and Hellbent, because they are both big authors who got their names starting in YA and specifically starting in high fantasy, who then moved into a more modern urban fantasy. But both of them, their adult series, have a mystery element to them. And I think the reason I really like Ninth House is because it reads like a thriller mystery. Like, yes, it has dark academia elements to it, but it's like a supernatural mystery, which I quite like. I like procedurals like that anyway. But I have intentionally saved to do that for next year. One, because I did not have the time to do it this year. And two, because I think Leigh Bardugo writes a much, much better mystery than Sarah J. Maas does, because she actually lets you find the clues on the page. And like, even with bits that I've reread recently, I'm like, it's there. The things that are happening are there on the page. Whereas Sarah J. Maas does this classic Agatha Christie thing of being like, oh, did you not know that was the answer? It's probably because I didn't tell you yet. It all happened off page, and I hate that shit. So I'm quite looking forward to doing that, but I think maybe that's probably why I enjoyed it more, because I didn't go into it thinking it's going to be like a horror or thriller. I read it more as like a spooky mystery.
Yeah, like I was invested at the beginning, I was excited to know what was going on and everything. I don't know what happened afterwards, but the moment that a book loses me, sometimes I think I should just DNF, because I force myself, and I think that's why I ended up like hating it more, just because I forced myself through it and I was not having a good time. But that's on me, that's not on the book, because I forced myself.
That's fair.
But maybe, I don't know. Yeah. I should learn. But maybe if I would have listened to the audiobook or something else, I don't know. Maybe just reading it on paper didn't work for me. I don't know. But I know many people loved it. So, it's another one that, I don't know. Well, The Ruins. Ooh, that's nice and horror. I like that one. It's very intense and I like it. There's a movie as well. I read Atlas 6, but the first version. So you're gonna hate Atlas 6. Oh,
you do have my copy. You do have my copy. I don't want it anymore. Welcome back. Oh, yes. Is this as in the Katie Roberts Sea Witch?
It's got to be, considering
it's got to be, right? It's the smirk. It's the smirk for me.
Smirk. Incredible, Georgia. I'm really pleased for you.
I'm thrilled for you.
Alone with You. In the Ether, completely different. Have any of you read that one?
No. But people say that's good. Also, if you do read young adult, My Mechanical Romance is good. Same author, different name, but that's also good.
There we go. Yeah, I don't read so much like fantasy, so I'm a bit out, or dark academia.
I think you still can understand the science.
Yeah, it's not just that I know I'm not a scientist. Like, she talks about, so basically her focus is on a cure for cancer. She works in, I can't remember what the term is now, but essentially a type of biology that looks at cells and cell development and how to isolate certain attributes of cells. And she does talk about her procedures, and she does talk about, and there's a whole bit where they go to a conference and she's talking about her research and talking to other people about their research and things like that. And the science is, to a certain extent, explained where it's plot relevant. it's just not. I didn't walk away feeling like I had to go and do research to check on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
and also even with Love on the Brain, where she's a neuroscientist and she's talking about these helmets and how they're going to help with cerebral relapses and things like this, and how G-force affects the brain and like things like that. I'm like, yeah, I just accept this. Like the way it's written, it reads like it's being written by a scientist as opposed to by someone who's just done a cheeky bit of Googling and decided that this must be the thing that it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I read the book and I thought I didn't even like mind so much about all the science talk, to be honest.
I like it. I want more romances where the main characters are in STEM.
I want to read the rest of the books like that she's done after that one. I started with that one. I thought it was, it was good for a romance. I don't read much romance, so I want to be selective.
That's fair.
With what I read, because I don't read many, so at least I want them to be decent or good enough.
Yeah, for sure. I think that one is good enough. Like, Lizzie gifted it to me for Christmas last year. Excuse me. And I've been desperate for Lizzie to pick it up ever since, but Lizzie doesn't read romance. So.
For me, I have my moments, like mostly it's in summer when I go on holidays. I'm like, I want some romance now. Or during Christmas, I want those cheesy, stupid, cozy Christmas romance stuff. Also, I will watch every Hallmark movie that I come across because I can just disconnect my brain and just watch it without having to think about it.
That's fair.
That's mostly the 2 times of the year that I indulge in some romance. Like, apart from Red Wine, Royal Blue, and Heartstopper, which are a year-long marathon for me at this point. Yeah.
I think I like
Me too. Me too.
Then maybe you will like Olivia. Then again. Okay. About natural disasters.
That seems like such a you book, Abby.
It's such a you book. I told you geography.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Let's see. Oh no. Now I need you to read it, Olivia, because I want to know if you will like it or not.
I'll try it. I've been thinking about doing another read or unhaul vlog for no TBR reasons whatsoever, and read some of or try some of the books that I'm not sure about, because I have a few.
Yeah. The Dark Academia scam. That's how we're going to call it now.
Do you know what the biggest scam is? People labeling the Raven Boys as Dark Academia.
Oh!
Even though I love that book with my whole heart, going to it for Dark Academia, you're just bound to end up disappointed.
That's fair.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like if Goodreads or any other part says categorizes as something that it's not, some people go into books with like the wrong expectations. It happens to me a lot that I hear someone saying, "Oh, this is like a great slasher. This is a great this," and then I read the book and I'm like, "Where's the slashing? What happened?
Where's the slashing?
Where's the slashing?"
I think it's worse when the blurb. Like when there's something in the blurb that just is not correct.
Yeah,
it's like the little like sentences where an author said, "This is one of the greatest thrillers of all time." What? This isn't a thriller, though. I don't. Where did you get thriller from? Like,
who is thrilled by this? Because it's not me.
Yeah, it's like, excuse me, stop scamming me.
I read a book for Sentient House, and it was like Haunted House. It sounds so much like when you're trying to correct people spelling breathe and breath, but they're very similar, but they're not at all the same thing.
They're not the same.
Frustrated.
Yeah, I think that that's one of the things that causes me sometimes to be more disappointed in the book that I should. And I try not to be too harsh when I judge the book because of my expectations, because a lot of time they don't match the book. Like, I know that, Olivia, I know you loved it, like You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight, but I was so disappointed in the book because it's pitched as a slasher and it's just not a slasher.
Literally, and it was exactly what I said about it too.
It was marketed as a slasher, and I understand why they say that, and they are trying to not reveal too much about what the book is truly about. But I was disappointed because of that. If I wouldn't have thought from the beginning this is a pure slasher, I think I would have seen it with different eyes, But because I was going with certain expectations, I was disappointed. But but I know you loved it.
I did.
Yes.
That's fair. I feel like, again, it was the only thing that I knew about it going in was that it was dark academia, and then I was like, well, this is boring.
New collection. Oh, Killen Patrick Berg. Yes. Fantastic. Love it when people read really bad horror. Like bad in the sense of intense horror. The Night House 3 stars.
Interesting. I didn't enjoy how graphic it was, but I thought it was an interesting twist. But I want it to be dark. Okay,
yes.
Interesting. If it's still got that mystery element, though, it will still. I mean, to be fair, I've got the Illumicrate Sprayed edition, so.
Oh, Mamarracho. Okay. It's like like someone that it's stupid, I guess you could say. I have, we're talking about Killen Patrick Berg. Fantastic. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah. We suspected. We knew. Oh,
Sharon doesn't do romance.
I'd be really interested to know what you thought about two books. If you are like, I don't like romance, I want a death, but you kind of want to try. There's one which is Dial A for Aunties, where someone dies in like chapter 2, but it's like a comedy romance and constantly trying to like hide the fact that she may or may not have killed this guy on the first date. And the other one that has a love story in it, but is not really romance, but definitely has blood and murder, is My Sister the Serial Killer. Because I've
read My Sister the Serial Killer.
It's it's one of my favorites because it's short, it's tense, it does have a love story in it, and it also has kind of like sibling rivalry. Are these sisters going to kill each other or protect each other type vibes? It's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a couple of books that I keep in like the back of my mind for when there are like prompts to do with like romance or love in readathons, but people don't read those genres. So I try and I'm like, okay, it's a really niche trope in this genre, but I found it. It's here. And those are the two that I always think, yeah, if you don't like romance, but you want something that's got like a love story in it, those are the two that I think are great.
Yeah, I agree. I do like, well, I don't think the U series are particularly romance, but there's a romance element to it. It's just that the main, character is a little bit delusional about what love actually means. But I love that series. That's like I would say those books that I read for comfort, but I know they're not the best. But I really like the Caroline Kepnes U series, which also have a bit of romance, but yeah, Sharon doesn't do romance. Yes, that's fair. For me, it depends what I'm in the mood for, and also if the romance has any importance at all in the story. If it's just thrown in there and it's not important, then I just feel like it doesn't belong there. But yeah, Hallmark movies. Yes.
Yeah, I had a similar thought about my teaching experience, and I've got a kind of teacher book that I want to write. It's the only one that has like teacher as a main character, which is essentially a magic school, but rather than it being from a student's perspective, it's from a trainee teacher's perspective. So she's actually going and teaching her subjects, like she already knows this magic, but dealing with, and it's kind of like what was that one that had like the two X's that like Hex the X or something like that, or the X Hex or something? It's gonna have that kind of vibe, I think. But before Olivia says anything, I actually need to finish up through everything.
It was literally me waiting until you finished talking to be like, why don't you finish the one you're writing right now?
Shush, I'm gonna.
Okay, if you guys are ready, we're gonna go to the first 40-minute sprint.
Sounds good to me.
Yes, we're gonna do the kitty, so I'm sorry if anybody gets scared. Even my cats sometimes look at me like, what's going on? Okay, let's do it. Let's bring it to the screen. And I'll see you guys in 40 minutes.
See you then.
Theory page. Mm-hmm. Hello.
Hey. Right, I was just finishing my page.
All right. How did everyone do? How did you go, Lizzie?
I finished my Belladonna pages, but I only read up to page 21, Hannah.
Yeah, 21 or 22, wasn't it?
22, yeah. Chapter 3 starts at page 22, so I figured that's where I'd stop.
Yeah.
It was not what I was expecting at all, but I'm really enjoying it. I enjoy the concept, but considering I didn't read the blurb, I had a very different idea of what this book was going to be, purely because of the dust jacket. This obviously is just like what the Naked hardcover looks like, but I thought it was going to be way more gentle than it is. But no, it starts off with quite a few gruesome deaths from page 1, which is fun.
Oh, so I thought it was too gentle. I was like, this is a bit.
I'm enjoying it though, because it's totally not what I was expecting. Like, I knew Belladonna obviously is poison, but like, that's all I know about Belladonna, like the actual flower thing. So, I'm enjoying it. Little Eyes is weird.
Yep.
The whole concept.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have no idea on what universe, what planet I'd have to be to buy one of these things, because it's fucking creepy. Why do you want someone you don't know just like watching you all the time?
Oh, like, yeah, it's super weird, isn't it, to have people watching you and you're just chilling out at home? That would never be us. We would never do that.
Hannah, this is by choice. This is like, I'm choosing to do this.
They chose to buy it.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's going to spend almost $300 on this?
Oh, because people don't buy Alexas or Roombas or phones that cost that much.
All right, Hannah, stop with this logic. I'm saying
is the world that we live in is the world where that would work.
No.
Yeah. I'm with Hannah on this one.
I didn't make it through Little Eyes, but I tried.
Oh.
Interesting. What didn't you like
I haven't started it yet, but
I think there was too much space between this. Like, from what I understand, it's short stories and it loops around to like, it's not always the same story back to back.
Oh no, it's not short stories at all. It's just lots of different perspectives.
It's just, yeah.
So some of them feel like vignettes, but they are the same voices over and over again.
It just didn't work for me in that way. Like, I just wanted something more narrative, straightforward. It was really strange. And then the only one I found creepy was the first one, and then I was like, I just don't really care about any of these other ones.
There's a couple that don't start creepy, but they get very, very creepy. Very creepy. And there's a couple that I'm like, they start like really innocent and gentle, and they're the most messed up.
Nice.
Well, I'm excited to read more of it. As I said, I'm not very far in. I'm literally on the second perspective on page 18. I'm really disappointed that she bought the crow and not the dragon. That's not going to make any sense for anyone. Like, wrong choice. Like, come on.
Well, I think I will get the crow as well, to be fair.
Me too, actually.
I love a crow. I do love
No, I'd get the dragon. It breathes fire. Come on.
Yeah, only like a little bit though.
Yeah, make lighting the fucking log burner a bit easier though, wouldn't it?
It's not that difficult, Lizzie. I don't know what your problem is.
Oh, as if you'd ever touch it, Hannah.
I've done it once, unsuccessfully, but I lit stuff on fire.
I tried 3 times. Unsuccessfully. Yeah, I would show you my cat, but it's black, so I don't know.
I can see a tummy. I can see it.
Yeah, he's like like a ball here. Right now.
For some reason, Horatio's decided to prove just how long he is.
Yeah.
So he is just all tummy.
Beautiful. That's the kind of content I come here for.
Yeah.
The cat.
I think that's what Abby has said as well. Abby's like, I appreciate the kitty content. I don't know what his toes are doing though. He keeps like curling his toes, and it's really cute.
Oh.
But it means I'm not sitting up anytime soon, so I apologize for the angle.
It's fantastic. So tell us how you did, Hannah.
So I did my 22 pages or whatever it was of Belladonna, and it was okay. It's very telly though. There's not a lot of like showing you what happens. It just tells you this is what happened to her family, and this is what happened to her, and here's what she's thinking. And I'm like, okay. I don't think it's one of my favorite Hodders, and considering that's like one of my favorite publishers, is a little disappointing. But I'm gonna trust the process because it's one of Kelly's favorites. So I feel like I need to give it a proper go. And then I started Bookish Broads, and I got to page 23, which is the Shakespeare Sisters, which is about the chapter about a bunch of authors, female authors that came out around the same time as Shakespeare, but didn't get the same level of credit because they're women.
Yeah.
Interesting.
How about you, Olivia? How did you do?
I had a long phone call with my mom, and I finished Everything the Darkness Eats, which was good in the end. Like, I really like this. I don't find much horror actually horrifying, but I found this quite horrifying. And I would describe it as like Annihilation meets Paradise Lost. So I see that Pixie enter the building. I feel like you like this Pixie. If you read the content warnings, you might like this one.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, all the content warnings normally for Eric La Roca, but I really like his books.
Did you read this?
They're quite different. No, not yet.
Oh, I want to know what you think of that one.
My favorite still is Things
Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke.
Since we last spoke. Yeah, I always forget that. Yeah. I love that so much. I don't know, like it's one of the few things that I had to read in one sitting. Like I didn't want to put it down, and I didn't care if I had other things to do. I just had to finish it. And that doesn't always happen to me. So I think that's why it's still my favorite.
I've only read that one and this one, but I think this one just tops it because it's like one narrative story, whereas like the other one was really good short stories, but like I think it just nailed it. And now I want to read the one that got me on Eric La Roca that you recommended. You've Lost a Lot of Blood. Like I need to read.
We've got yeah. That one is I love that one as well. I read all of his works except that one. Huh?
Is it short stories as well?
No. It's like it's almost like it's telling two stories, but in a way. I mean, they're not 100% connected, but it's like there is chapters that are intertwined, and at the end, everything kind of makes sense in a way. So, but it's not short stories, but there are two different stories.
Yeah, this is similar layout. This is a similar layout.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, great. So I read like 50 something pages of 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. And I mean, so far it's interesting. Because they, like I said, it's 6 friends that are traveling in an RV. It's the middle of the night. They got lost. They got a flat tire. And now they have a sniper aiming at them. And they have no cell phone service or anything. So they're trying to be resourceful with the things they have inside of the RV, which I think it's nice to see. Like, it's not your typical scenarios. People are mostly trapped either in a house or in a building or, you know, something more common, and they always go to the same resources, or mostly they have phones or they have other ways of communicating. But now you're really truly like in the wilderness, like completely separated from civilization. And so it's nice to see that the author is looking for things that make sense, that even teenagers maybe would even think, or that are related to who they are or who their parents are. So it makes sense that they would know these things. Like it's trying to be more realistic in a way. Yeah. So I like that, you know, that it makes sense. Like I can follow up with the logics of the characters of why they're doing these things or why they're trying to do these things. So I'm enjoying it so far. But yeah, like I said the other day, like I was thinking maybe a lot of people die here, and then I realized it says 5 survive, so there's 6 people. So I'm like, is this a spoiler?
No, it's a threat.
And I only get 1 death of all of this. Yeah, but I mean, so far I'm enjoying it because I'm interested to see how this is gonna like end, because I don't know who this guy is that is the sniper. Why is he targeting them? Apparently they have a secret, according what the synopsis said, that the sniper wants to know, but who has the secret of the 6 people? Yeah, I don't know. And they're all friends, so is there something that they're hiding from each other? So it's still kind of suspenseful in a way. So we'll see. It's my first Holly Jackson book, so we'll see. Yes, yes, yes. Let me see what everybody else in the comments has been saying. Let's see.
Ooh,
Mm.
I'm looking forward to this collection.
Yeah. Good night, Sharon. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited about Yalk this year. Also, because Jonathan Stroud is coming again. I didn't know he was coming this year. They added some authors last minute, so really excited that he's coming back. I met him last year as well. Nonfiction. Okay. Yeah, we're leaving for the kitty content. Penance. Nice. Yeah, that's why I bought it, because I thought it was gonna be interesting for me. I like the concept, to be honest. Like, hasn't nobody ever thought, when you walk at night on the street or something and you see lights on people's houses, you'd never wondered what people are doing, or if you could just peek through the window? Like, everybody has thought about that, right? Or it's just
No,
me.
for sure. And I think that's why like reality TV is crap, but I think there's some where the fact that it is just watching people is clearly fascinating, like the ones like Big Brother and stuff like that where they can't go anywhere. I find that so fascinating. And Dara O'Brien, the comedian, does a whole bit about the fact that he finds it really offensive when people are mad at him for looking through their window. And he's like, it's not my fault you have your windows wide open and no curtains, okay? It's like you wanted me to look, you hussy. And this whole joke about that. And I'm like, yeah, it's very easy to kind of be drawn into. I'm terrible for it when I'm on the train. If I'm on the train and it's moving quite slowly, I will absolutely look into people's gardens and see what they got going on, And it's not even that I'm that fussed about a garden. I'm just nosy. I just want to know what's going on. So I can absolutely believe, and I can absolutely believe because I do watch a lot of lifestyle vlogs and I watch a lot of live streams. I could absolutely see it being a thing that people like, and especially because it's so isolating as well. That you have to spend hours in this little thing so that you can move around and watch stuff. Yeah, wild. Absolutely wild. And how dangerous it is to have one of them in your house. But yeah, it's a really interesting concept. I had no intention of picking it up. I only picked it up because of Becca's Spookopoly last month, because I needed a book that had a body part in the title, and I just happened to see that Little Eyes was on Scribd. And I recognized it because a friend of mine read it. My friend Sean read it and loved it. But Sean really likes interesting, speculative books anyway. So I just happened to recognize it from that and gave it a go. And I'm really glad I did, because it was wild. And also it worked really well for the speculative prompts for our book club. But I do feel like it's a book that I will recommend because it's a great conversation starter. I just think it's really weird book. You've just woken up, huh?
And it's also translated fiction too.
Yeah. So it ticks off. Oh, which means actually that's a point. That means I can tick off another prompt for Jabitathon as well.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to read more translated fiction this year. Not that my reading this year has been particularly fantastic, but one of my goals this year was to read more translated fiction. So I didn't pick it up purely for that. When I saw that it was translated, I was like, oh, cool.
Maybe you should do a little challenge next year where for every translated book you read, you're allowed to treat yourself to something.
Maybe.
I just love a challenge. Ignore me.
You can read Tender is the Flesh. That's translated. It's great. I don't know if it's for you, but it's great.
I second that. It is great, indeed.
Is that another cannibal book? Because you know how I feel about cannibal books.
Well, yes and no.
Yes and yes.
Yeah, but you know about the windows. You know what a culture shock was for me is coming to the Netherlands, because people here don't have curtains. they are so open about what they do. Like if you walk on the street, I almost feel like I'm intruding. Like people have like their living rooms, they're just sitting there or in the kitchen, and you're just walking like, what's going on? Like where I grew up in Spain, everybody uses curtains and closes things, and nobody wants you to peek into their homes. And in Germany, it's kind of the same thing. And then I moved to the Netherlands, and everybody is like full display of what they're doing every day in their living room, and I'm like, what's going on here?
It's true. I'm actually still so bad at doing curtains. Like I've got the light on and I'm pretty sure everyone can see everything. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to remember like time to draw the curtains.
Yeah. See, I'm more like that because I come from Spain. Everybody closes everything, you know. And in the Netherlands, it's like I'm in my living room watching TV. This is what I'm watching. I just feel like
nobody's gonna do anything. It's the Netherlands, tiny small towns.
Yeah, just for me it was a little bit like, oh wow, okay, we're doing this. Fine. Not reading is fine. No, you're not useless.
You're unwell, to be fair. Like you've had a cough for like forever, so be nice to yourself, please.
Yes. Just maybe watch something that is comforting to you and just sleep. That's what I do when I don't feel well. The Changeling. Is that the one from Victor? No. I forgot.
Victor Lavelle.
Yeah. I think it was that one.
Oh my gosh, I just realized that that's the author of other books.
Yes. This is the author of other books.
I know of their other books and I know of The Changeling, but I hadn't put the two together.
That's the quote of the year.
It might be one of my favorite things you've ever said, Olivia. I'm the author of other books.
Yeah, just put that in Olivia 2023.
Actually, I couldn't think of any other example, but I exactly knew what I was thinking about in my head.
The one that always comes to my mind is The Ballad of Black Tom, but he also
That's the one.
Ebony and Silver and Lone
yes.
Woman.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's got others on there as well, but those are the four that come up first.
Because I
but
really
The Ballad
want
of Black
to
Tom, I think Jesse's mentioned quite a few times on their channel.
Pixie really liked that one as well, I remember.
We Travel the Spaceway, The Ecstatic. Slapboxing with Jesus is another Victor Lavelle.
Okay. Wow.
I kind of want to read that just for the title now.
Right. It's only got 481. So 12 original and interconnected stories. Oh, in the traditions of Yuno Diaz and Sherman Alexie. Victor D. Lavelle's astonishing, violent, and funny debut offers harrowing glimpses of vulnerable lives of young people who struggle not only to come of age, but to survive the city streets. And barely 200 pages. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, Slapboxing with Jesus. Great title. Great title.
Nice.
Oh, that's interesting. So he's part of the Black Stars series, which starts with Adichie's The Visit, and then has the Black Pages by Okorafor. Sorry. His is book 6, We Travel the Spaceways. There must be standalones or have like similar characters and stuff, but they're all written by different Black authors.
Interesting concept.
So Georgia says she got her hair. I cut my hair actually recently. Not much, but enough for me that, you know, it feels weird. And that's true. Even if you have like really long hair, if you cut just a little bit, it just feels like such a difference. I still feel it. Even though it's still super long, people probably don't even know that I cut it, but it still feels like I cut so much.
Yeah, mine's starting to grow out again now. And it's weird to me that it's like now back to touching my shoulders.
Yes, we only had one, so you still have 2 more to look forward to. Very long cat, Hannah. That's what you have.
Very long cat.
Yes, enjoy.
Things have gotten worse, yeah. I like the first time I read it, it was just one novella. So the first time I read it just by itself, and then they just republished it with the other short stories. So that's why I guess it had more of an impact for me because that's the only one that I read before they put it together with the other ones. Yeah. That's mostly how people go with Lyric LaRocca.
Yeah, that's how I felt with this at the beginning. I was like, what? And then we got to the end and I was like, okay, what? But also good what?
I really enjoy We Can Never Leave This Place. It was also like at the beginning I was like, okay, I get what's going on. Then it was like, what the fuck is going on? And it was like everything went bonkers, and then at the end you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of like the roller coaster you go to. But that one was also really good. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I hope to meet people from the booktube community when I'm there. I'm really
You can meet
excited.
me.
Yes, we have a date. Yes, we do. Yes. My
Yeah,
cat.
he's decided it's too hot now. He's gone back to sleeping in my wash basket. When he gets chilly again, he'll come back. But he's got quite thick fur, like he's quite fluffy, and he doesn't really do with the heat very well. So he gets over warm and he decides he's had enough and he wanders off, and then he gets chilly and he comes back.
Yeah, that's what mine do as well. Nice, nice. Yeah, the ruins is a good one. It's good. It's good. Nice.
Oh yeah. I added it to my TBR at this point, so I usually flag who I got the recommendation from mentally, at least. Ooh, that's a big change.
Yeah, that's a big change. I only cut like a little chunk like this, but it feels like it's a lot.
No, I was similar to Georgia. Mine was all the way down my back, like I could sit on it, and then I got it cut to like just about here, because I've been meaning to get it cut for ages, because I never do anything with it. I always just kind of put it in a ponytail like it is now. But yeah, so I need to get it cut again soon so it can go back to being nice and short. I need to have about that much taken off, I think.
Nice, nice. Okay, so we're done with the comments. So we're gonna go to another sprint if you girls are ready.
I am.
I'm gonna keep on reading 5 Survive and see what happens.
Yeah, I think I'm going to continue with Bookish Broads, actually. I have got other pages of things that I need to read, but I'm just really intrigued by this one at the moment. And I think because it's a non-fiction and mostly illustrations, I might be able to tick it off and have a book finished today.
That's fantastic. That counts. It's a book finish.
Yeah, that's something about the fact that Olivia has finished a book today, is it, Hannah?
Oh, I've already finished it today. This will be my second of the day.
The long-going competition.
What's the stat? Every day, Hannah. Every day.
Oh, yeah, to be fair, I'm 2 books behind on that, so I feel like this will help me. But I am 20 books ahead of you in the challenge, so it's fine.
That was what I want to know. What's the challenge?
You should check again. You should check again.
Oh, I might do a little unhaul in the next sprint, actually.
Don't worry, I'm not that close, but I think next sprint I'll read The House in the Woods because you were thinking about reading The House in the Woods, so then I'll just do the same.
Nice, nice, nice. I think I'll read that one on the last sprint. Yeah, so I'm gonna read now 5 Survive, and then I'll change to The House in the Woods. And then you can let me know if it's good already. All right, let me put the kitty back. And I'll see you all in 40 minutes. Hello.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hello, hello, hello. How are we all doing?
Good.
How is it, Lizzie? Are you enjoying the book?
I only read like 9 pages because I was being lightly bullied by Hannah and Zach downstairs. So
Fantastic use of the sprint, being bullied.
yeah,
They deserved it. It's fine.
Excuse me.
always.
I'm
No,
not going to
it's
deny it. For sure. For
fine.
sure we were bullying, but they deserved it.
Yeah, but it's still weird. I'm on to like the next little bit. It's very strange.
Okay. How about you, Hannah? Apart from bullying Lizzie.
Yeah, so I bullied Lizzie for about half of that time, and then I read 33 pages of Bookish Broads and read all about how tragic some of my favourite female authors' lives were, and how most of those tragedies were caused by men, surprising no one. So yeah, that's been quite interesting. I've skipped a couple though, because there's a couple where I'm like, I want to read their books first before I like dig into like their lives and stuff. But it was really interesting reading Mary Shelley's and Mary Wollstonecraft, her mother, and the fact that I didn't realize Mary Shelley's mother was a writer and wrote about the vindication of women's rights, like before like the suffragette movement was even like established as a thing. I thought it was really fascinating. And then the bit about Mary Shelley was wild. I was like, I always forget that she really was the original goth. Like, she kept her husband's heart in a box next to his like first poem to her and stuff like that. And I'm like, wild. So yeah, no, it's really interesting. It's really interesting.
Yeah, she did other wild things as well.
Yeah. Apparently she learned to spell using the letters in her mother's gravestone. So
yes, she did other things on the gravestones.
And yeah, well, this is like a PG version of her life. So
I see.
Yeah.
I also find her father quite interesting. Like that whole family are all very talented, and it's interesting that they made Mary Shelley.
Yeah. I'm really intrigued about her life, to be honest. I think it's one that I would like to know more of. Did you guys watch the movie?
No, not yet.
It looks good though.
Yeah, it was decent, I think. I mean, it's kind of like a Hollywood movie in a way, but it was nice.
There's also a new book out or coming out, which is called Mary by Anne Eickhout, which sounds like a Dutch author. I bet it's a Dutch author. And it's about like the night that she made Frankenstein, like the storytelling and all the other characters or people. I guess they're not characters because they're real, but it's a fictionalized story. And I'm interested to see how much breathing room they give it. Like, do we get to hear about a fictionalized version of her past? It just sounds interesting.
How was your reading then, Olivia? Let us know.
I read 40 pages of The House in the Woods by Yvette Fielding, and it's okay. Like, I just don't know if I'm a middle grade horror reader. I read The Haunting of Aveline Jones earlier this year, and I was like, it's okay, but maybe I just need my horror to be scary in a way that is not, you won't get that in middle grade. So I've got like 2 other middle grades of horror on my shelves, and I did want to see if it's the genre or the books. And right now it's the genre, and it's just not my genre, but I will keep reading it.
Possible. I'm trying to think if there's any other one that I have read that was more intense. I don't know. Have you read the one, I think it's The Haunting of Tyrese Walker, that has Jamaican?
That's on my shelf, but
yeah.
Isn't that young adult? Like, I don't mind young adult horror, apparently.
No, it's middle grade as far as I know, but maybe it's a bit more touching the border of YA.
Oh, okay.
But I thought it was middle grade. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I haven't read it yet, so I actually don't know either.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's middle grade. I'm trying to think, but I think it is, because the guy, I think he's a kid. He's like 12 or something, and he goes visits his family back in Jamaica, and he reconnects with his roots, and then he starts to be haunted by something. So
yeah, That is one I have on my shelf to try as well.
Maybe give that one a chance if that one also doesn't work. For me, it depends. I have to be in the mood for that and remind myself that it's middle grade. But the ones that tend to be too innocent and everything is too sweet and perfect, those don't tend to work so much for me. If it's a bit dark, even if it's middle grade and toned down, I can still enjoy it for the the atmosphere and remembering when I was a kid and I loved all of those like horror stories. But those are like two, let's say, Disney Channel. Those are not so much for me.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
So I read the like 50 to 60 more pages of Five Survive. I can say it's getting more intense. I'm enjoying it. There was a nice twist. I enjoyed the twist. I'm just trying not to spoil anything. So yeah, I mean, because I'm in the middle of the book, I think I'm 60% or so into it. And what I really like is every section of the book is like a time slot. Like I think it starts at 11 o'clock at night and keeps going as things progress. So you're kind of like living through the night with them and be like, okay, now it's 12 o'clock, now it's 1 o'clock. And at some point it's gonna be daylight, but probably something's gonna have to be resolved before daylight, I'm assuming. So it kind of adds to the tension and like to give you a perspective of how much time have passed since these people have been trapped in the RV, and I like that. And because it's like a RV and there are 6 people, it still feels a little bit claustrophobic for them. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I always wanted to try Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but I still haven't read it. Potentially, I'll pick it up at Yelk since I'm gonna be there anyways.
To be fair, actually, whilst you're over here, you might be able to get. So they've done a anniversary edition for it.
Yeah,
it's so pretty, and like I love this book. Yeah, so I've got the paperbacks because I got gifted the paperback by Tilly. Then went out immediately bought book 2 and 3. Even though Tilly was like, I've heard that book 2 and 3 aren't as good, you might not like them. And I was like, well, maybe I'll try them as audiobooks first so that they don't count as anything towards my TBR challenge. And then immediately changed my mind, bought and read both of them, loved them, and then bought the Swanky edition as well. But I was like, well, I read it now, so it doesn't count, so it's fine.
Yeah, I've seen the edition here, and I nearly bought it, but then I was like, I don't know if I want to buy like the 3 paperbacks because I don't know if they're gonna do the 3 in hardback. If I buy the special edition,
I don't think.
Do I have to wait?
Really for it. Yeah. Well, like I've been having the same question about Cruel Prince because I've got the Cruel Prince, the trilogy as paperbacks, and as like the old hardbacks that have got like the foiled edge, the foiled front cover. But the new Waterstones one is so pretty, and I really want it. But I'm also like, I don't need 3 copies of one book. I don't. I want them, but I don't need it.
Well, I guess it depends.
It depends. I'm trying to think if I have 3 copies of any book, and I don't think so.
I have many copies of Lord of the Rings.
So. To be fair, you have a few, but you've got your paperbacks, you've got your hardbacks that are like the special editions, and then you've got your combined ones. The other ones are mine.
Yeah, I still count 3 there.
That's what I'm saying is that's 3 of 3 different books, as opposed to just 3 of one book when they're not doing a special edition of the other 2.
Normally, the maximum I get is 2 of the same. Normally,
yeah, and 2 is usually my max. At one point, I think I had 3 or 4 Frankenstein, and then I was like, "That's too much," so I gave away. I gave away 2, and I was like, "Okay, I don't need that." And one of them was like the one I read in uni, so it was like academic, and I was like, I don't want that anyway.
I think I've got 3 copies of Dracula, but then that's because I've got the one that I have from uni. I have my swanky leather-bound one, which is literally just there. And then I've also got the new one that I bought when we went book shopping and I wasn't supposed to buy anything because it was to go on my TBR challenge. But it didn't need to because I've already read it. So I bought the what it's called. It's like it's not a Wordsworth edition, but it's something like that.
I have maybe 3 or 4 different editions of the first volume of Heartstopper, but that's not my fault. because they did like the first one, like the original, then they released it with the TV show cover, so I had to buy it. Then they released the hardcover, so I had to buy it. It's like it keeps happening.
I've got the paperbacks and the hardcovers. I've got both. I just don't have the ones with the boys on the front.
Yeah, I got that one signed by Alice last year. That one and Solitaire I got signed.
Oh,
This is
nice.
my favorite. Yeah.
Solitaire is your favorite?
Yeah, it is.
I love it so much. It's so angsty.
Yeah, I just love Tori so much. I just love her so much.
She's great.
She's great. I want her to have her own TV show. And now I have 6 copies of Red Wine Royal Blue.
Oh my gosh, what?
But one is okay. Listen.
Do 6 copies even exist? Are there 6 versions of that book?
So 2 are very similar, which is the original like pink edition that I got when the book came out, and they released one that is almost the same. So I bought that one just for annotating and highlighting and stuff. The other ones are the book tie-in edition, which I never buy, but hello, my boys. Then I have the hardcover UK, the hardcover US, and then I have the French edition, which I'm never gonna read, but it's beautiful. And it was only like 20 euros on Amazon. I was like, might as well, since we're here doing it anyway, so might as well just do it. So yeah, it's
a lot of versions. I haven't even
that's a collection. I feel like if you go past 4 books, now it's a collection. Now you're obligated to get more.
Yeah, that's a problem.
You see another edition, it's part of a collection.
It's like I already have 5, so I might as well.
What's another one when you've already got 5? And that's why I don't think Lizzie should be so hard on themselves about like the Lord of the Rings thing, because I think like we've got a whole shelf dedicated to it between the 2 of us. So admittedly, 98% of it is yours, but
yeah,
I'm sure
like that's a collection, Yeah.
I'm sure the Fourth Wing fans are telling themselves that too.
There were like 12 editions of that, and do you know what? It's really bizarre because the what was it called? The Empire of the Vampire had like 4 different arcs. Like the arcs had like 4 different covers that went out, which is wild to me.
Those arcs were stunning though. Like whoever got those, like lucky, because those are very, 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 very pretty arcs. But for collectors, they must be pissed.
Yeah. So I think, and there were like 3 different editions because obviously like Fairy Luke, Illuma Crate, etc. But I think there were others that other indie companies did. So I think there's maybe like 12 different editions of Empire of the Vampire, which is going to be really interesting because he's got the next book in the series coming out this year. And I'm like, is there going to be more clamour for it or less?
It's hardcover proof. I saw hardcover proof.
Oh, interesting.
But I'm just like, I didn't actually, for a book where I heard so much about the 4 different types of proofs, I didn't actually hear that much noise about what people thought about the book.
I think it was so big. I think a lot of people probably didn't read it before it came out because it was so huge. I read it when it came out. I wasn't lucky enough to get a proof. I don't, it's my friend. But I really enjoyed it. It very much felt like Name of the Wind, but add vampires. Like it had that same format. So I really, really enjoyed it. Like annoyingly, because J. Kristoff sucks, but as a human being, but he can write a good book. Really unfortunate when it's like that, guys.
It do be like that sometimes, though. You know what he did get a proof of, though, because it's still sat in your trolley.
I know.
But now that you mentioned Illumicrate, I just remembered that there is a Red Wine Royal Blue edition from Illumicrate that I'm trying to get, but people are asking like 100 euros for it. So I'm just here like considering my life. Now what I'm doing is I'm selling things on Vinted and I'm saving that up to buy it so that I don't feel like I'm taking it out of my own money.
No, that's girl math.
And then I'll buy it.
That's an exchange. Exactly. You're not buying anything if you do it that way. That's
exactly. So I'm saving up on my Vinted account and then I'll buy that edition. And then I don't feel like I spent 100 on that, which I will, but I feel better.
I would spend a lot of money on the Fairy Loot Raven Cycle editions that came out. However, all the people, I don't think they did that many. So all the people who got it are actually people who want it. Nobody's selling it. So it's like, okay, at least they're somewhere where they're being treasured by people who aren't me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Olivia, what have you got on your t-shirt?
What have I got on my t-shirt?
Mm-hmm.
It just says love and hope.
Okay, I was just the only reason I ask is because Cash has got the Nightmare Before Christmas, which is like a Halloweeny. Lizzie's got Ghosties, and I've got a vampire reference. So I was just like, you're the only one that's not feeling the spooky vibes.
I was Team Angel, so I bring the love and hope.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Also, I love that throwback. Like it's like 3 years old, and I'm so here for it.
I
Nice,
didn't get
nice.
the memo though. I did not get the memo.
To be fair, I was wearing that white jumper right up until I remembered I still had this t-shirt on underneath, and I was like, let's lean into the Halloween vibes, even though Halloween has been and gone.
No, it's every day.
Every day.
Every day for me. Every day for me. Let's see people in the comments. Daughter of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah, you've got a week to finish it before the live show next week.
So
Hannah's like, time is ticking.
You know, I'm so proud of myself that I got it done in time. I'm so proud of myself because, like, I've got like 6 different Lunar Library picks that I need to read by January for the January live show because we get a new one every month, and I haven't read them yet, and I'm like, I'm so behind.
I haven't read
my
any.
own book club.
I haven't read any of them, Hannah. Like, I'm gonna have
You've
to
been working like 1,000 jobs though, and to be fair, the last couple that you did get, I've told you not to bother with because they're shit. So
That's true. That is so true. Yeah, how quickly am I going to unhaul Madam, or do I try and read it?
I genuinely wouldn't bother. I don't know. You might not have such the same issues because the things that triggered me because of my like teacher stuff. I know they don't trigger you as much. I do think you'll find it a waste of. Well, no, actually, maybe you won't because you liked Bunny, didn't you?
I fucking loved Bunny.
I thought Bunny was the most boring thing I'd ever read in my life, so you might really enjoy it.
What's it like being wrong for once?
Wouldn't know. Couldn't be me. Sure. I'm never wrong. I don't know what you're talking about.
About that one book, you are. Everything else, I admit you're right about, but Bunny, you're incorrect about.
What horoscope sign are you, Hannah?
I'm an Aquarius. Can you not tell? Yeah, I'm an Aquarius, star sign, Gemini moon, and Virgo rising.
Yeah, I get the Virgo rising from that.
Yeah.
Because I'm also someone that people are like, you're never wrong, and I'm like,
Nice.
like I have that kind of same thing. So I was like considering if you
knew it was in there somewhere.
Yeah, I was like, it has to be there somewhere in the mix.
Yeah. For those of you who aren't into astrology, I'm also very much a type A personality. So
there you go. Let's see. One of the girls involved in a murder is talking about how she used to do messed up shit in the sink.
I love that. Beautiful. I love that.
I do want to read Penance. It sounds really good. Penance.
Okay, we finished with the non-fic. Good.
Nice.
Okay. Productivity. I read 2 stories. Nice.
Oh,
I read that as a chapter of Squirrel because I didn't realize that was an exclamation point. I need to clean my glasses.
It's supposed to be a really good graphic novel, Squire. I'm very curious.
Yeah. There's a new book coming out next year that I'm really excited about, which is called Medievally Blonde.
Oh.
I feel like it's a medieval, like it's written like a contemporary set in medieval times, but kind of like legally blonde. And I'm like, tick, tick, tick. Yes, please.
It sounds like one of those plays that Ian Dusha does, where he like riffs off of the Mean Girls or Star Wars and then makes it like classic style.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be... I really hope it's just like that.
Métis snack. 15 minutes reading. Nice.
It's been really interesting because where it is the Gothic along one, some people have really liked it. Some people have not liked it at all. And some people like me are just kind of in the middle of like... It's still Super Mario Garcia, so I still like it, but I can see why people don't like it. True.
Yes.
We stand.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a look. William Godwin wrote Caleb Williams, which is a story about a squire called Falkland and his cruel revenge.
Yes. I mean, only an anarchist was going to be able to marry Mary Wollstonecraft.
Yeah, she wasn't going to settle for anything less. Bless you.
Thank you.
80%. You probably already left, but good night. Thanks for coming. Nick.
Oh,
Nice. Yeah, it
see,
happened.
people do that, different languages.
I only did the French one of Red, White, and Royal Blue because the hardcover has beautiful like artwork on the front and on the back. That was my only reason. Not that I'm gonna read the book, but
It must be quite a fun way to learn a new language. I wish I knew a book well enough that if I picked it up in a second language, I could then start picking up the second language. But I am terrible at picking up second languages. I did Spanish and French at school.
well, you can practice Spanish with me.
Well, because I'm terrible at it. My sister-in-law's from Gibraltar, so she speaks Spanish, but she speaks like the Gibraltarian Spanish.
Yeah.
And she used to like talk Spanish on the phone to her mum, and then she would come downstairs and start like ranting about whatever it was that she had a conversation with her mum about at me in Spanish, and I'd be like, cool, I need all of that again in English, please. Like, I haven't got a clue. But we then went on holiday to Spain earlier this year, and she's having to like navigate the fact that her Spanish and the Spanish of the Spanish town we were in is different Spanish. And she's just like, I don't know how. Like, we all did a cup of tea, and they gave me a Steiner full of hot water and then like a green tea bag.
Yes.
And I was like, I'll drink it. That's not what we asked for at all. And Deanna was like, yeah, I just said tea and I didn't specify black tea, and that was my mistake. She's like, I'm trying to like work 3 different languages now, and I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, like we are not really a culture that drinks a lot of tea. We drink more coffee. Yeah. And so when you go when you go somewhere, they might have tea, but you have to specify what you want. Otherwise, there's only 2 that people regularly eat, and normally it's always after food. Like they drink either like chamomile tea, or the green one that we call poleo, which is like a minty one. So normally we only have those 2, and it's always after meals to kind of get the food down.
Well, this is the thing is like, because the rest of my family drink coffee, so they all ordered coffee with their breakfast, and I just asked for a tea, and that was a mistake. It was just a mistake.
Not a big tea culture in Spain. You have to be careful with that.
Also, going back to this, I have Twilight in English, Dutch, and Spanish, but I've read half of it in Dutch, and I've read chapter 1 in Spanish, so progress has been made. Over a year ago, but progress was made.
Over a year ago.
But I mean, this year it wouldn't count to your TBR challenge, so what's the point?
Exactly.
That's fair. Priorities, Stephanie Garber.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, I did hear that. There was like certain like different aspects to each one. So like the special editions I know were slightly different each one, but they were all really similar. There was just like one thing changed on each one, which is quite an interesting way of doing it. But again, it's like I don't want to collect all of them. I
remember a friend of mine when I was at uni for undergrad, we were talking about they had this idea. They wanted to write the same book 6 times, and each book would have the same title and would follow the same story, but would essentially lead to 6 different endings. And each ending would have like a different color front cover. And I really like that idea. I really like the idea of writing the same thing, but like veering off, so that people have like their favorite version of it in a different color. And then the idea of people collecting different colors. But they are a little bit more sadistic than I am, because they said that if they did that, they would market it with 1 more color than was actually available, so that people would spend the rest of their life looking for it.
That's
mean.
Yikes.
But I feel like they wouldn't get away with that because like false advertising and stuff. But like also, imagine going searching. Well, like, it is available. There's only 1 edition of it.
Yeah, no. My mind was also already blown when I heard that one of the Emily Henry books, like the US ending, is different from the UK ending. And I was like, what?
Really?
Yeah, one of the romance ones. I think I read it. I can't remember which one it was, but apparently it's because of the fact that epilogues' expectations are different for the US because of how in America, people get married younger, and like that's seen as the happily ever after. But in the UK, people don't get married that fast, so something else is seen as like the happily ever after in the UK, like rather than a wedding proposal. So she kind of catered it to what people expect in the different countries.
Interesting. What I took from that is that if I want to get married rapidly, I need to go to America.
Yes, that is the outcome.
Interesting. Noted.
Yes,
True.
this is correct.
Yeah, agreed.
I approve.
We went to Panto rehearsals the other day, and I was wearing this cardigan, and one of the lovely old men, and genuinely nice person, was like, "I never see you in anything non-spooky," and I was like,
Thanks.
"It does happen." It's not spooky
Thank you.
right now. He made a real thing of it, didn't he, Hannah?
He did.
Well, non-fiction.
Shocker.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm going to do non-fiction in November. I've read one non-fiction so far.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that counts. This will be my first non-fiction of the month.
I need to read more nonfiction, but the only things that I own or I like to read that are nonfiction are true crime books.
It counts. It counts. I like non-fictions that are broken up into like shorter, bless you, little snippets. So I like E. Foley and B. Coates do a collection of like non-fictions about different subjects, and their chapters are all kind of quite short and about a specific thing. So I don't feel bad about the fact that I'm like reading that one chapter and then putting it down and moving back to fiction, because that's what my comfort is.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to do any of that maths.
I mean, it's good doing it now before we really hit December, because it's coming fast, just as a warning.
Yeah, I would
No,
fail.
we'll panic.
I've still got like 250 books. I'd need to read like 30 books a day.
I'm still kind of on track with my Goodreads challenge. I try not to make like too much of a number. I think I do 100 every year, so I'm around 80, I think now, or 82 or something. So I might make it this year. Nice.
I hate
This
that.
is the best comment of the night.
I hate that for you so much.
And this is how a romance book starts. Let's pitch that idea.
Yes.
Especially for book readers, like for bookish people. Like, this is a great romance start. I like this. Let's pitch it in Yalk this year. Yes.
That's a quick read for you, isn't it, Abby? I've waited. Like, you've made like so many references to like big books today, and that's the first time I've made that joke. So I'm taking that as a personal best that I waited 2 hours and 42 minutes to make that joke.
That's it.
Oh, wow, that is doable.
Yeah, that's doable.
Do it. Challenge yourself. Challenge everyone.
Do what we cannot and clear your TBR.
Yeah, if you don't slump, that's true. Like, one of my good friends just texted me today, I'm on a reading slump, and I'm like, what can I do for you? What can I do? Do you want a buddy read? Do you want me to, I don't know, tell me what you need.
Slum doctor coming.
Yeah, I'm like, what can I do? Yeah.
True. Very true.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, it's also nonfiction. Nice.
Lots of topics.
A lot of history. Nice. I don't know if I could go 1 month only reading nonfiction, to be honest. Too much reality,
I don't think I could do it. I like a mix.
Yeah. I could do a mix, but like only nonfiction, I think it would just... No, I need something to distract me of the world sometimes.
Commend your patience, Hannah.
Yeah, be proud of me. Sorry, I got excited because Scribd has just taken my money, which means the thousands of books that have not been available to me are now available to me again.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I had to
including the audiobook for
Ooh.
5 Survive. So tempted to just drop my TBR and just pick this up instead.
I recommend drop TBR.
Yeah?
Survive. Go for
Maybe
it.
I'll listen to this whilst I unhaul a whole bunch.
Hey, Hannah,
Especially the unhauling. Stop doing that.
Hey, Hannah, maybe just finish the non-fiction and then drop everything else and start that one.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that.
So what do you want to start, Hannah?
5 Survive.
Oh.
After you've been talking about it, I'm like, the audiobook's right there. Because I can listen to it, and then it doesn't count if I buy it for myself, but I'm not going to buy it. Anyway.
Ash is influencing everyone tonight. This is also your pick.
Well, it's just because, I panicked and I'm like, I need to read all of these books before Yalk, and I haven't read that many. I read, I think, Zombie Hearts, another part. No, how was that? Broken Hearts and Zombie Parts. I read the Wise Creatures by Deidre Sullivan, which was great. And I read one of my favorite books this year, which is All That's Left in the World, which is a post-apocalyptic story. Yes.
I have that on my shelf. Okay, it's good that it's good.
Yeah, I gave it a 5. It destroyed me. It broke me. I loved it. I laughed. I nearly cried. Absolutely loved it. I'm really excited because I'm going to get to meet him at Yalk, and he has a sequel planned for next year. And I'm really happy. I also bought the other book he has, but I have not read that one yet, but I'll take it to Yalk with me to get it signed and stuff. So I'm really excited.
That one's romancy, isn't it? Is it romancy?
The other one I think is just romance, but All That's Left in the World is basically you need to imagine The Walking Dead, but without zombies. It's just a virus that wipes out the population, and there's just a very few people left in the world. And two of them are these 2 teenage boys that meet each other like by chance. That's basically how it starts. Tells you about the virus and that these 2 guys meet and stuff. And it's just like wild. It's a little bit like Walking Dead in some senses, even though there's no zombies. But it was also way darker and way more violent and brutal than I expected, to be honest.
Oh, yes.
But it also deals a lot with grief, and it's told from the both boys' perspective, which I thought was really good because you could like understand the things they've been through before they even met and what they're thinking, even though they're not talking to each other in that moment. Like you still get to see what they're thinking separate from each other, and I thought that was really smart for him to do, and I really loved that book. Yes, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Yes. So, and tonight is me catching up for Yalk again. Because, like last year I went to Yalk and I had read nearly none of the books that I got signed, and I felt a little bad. I was like, I want to be more prepared this year, like because you meet the authors, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people get books signed that meet the authors and they haven't read the books yet. But I tried to make an effort this year to read as much as I could. But yeah.
I feel like most of the time I haven't read the book yet when I get them signed.
I think the signings start so early in the process of like market, or like for certainly people that aren't in the industry, that's sometimes like the first chance that you get like anywhere near a new book. Like I know that loads of people that signed up for the Babel signings knowing they were going to get a copy of the book were some of the first people to get their books. One, because like the printing of that was I think it was like there was an issue with like storage, like loads of stuff got like lost or moved around or something. So it was just a real hassle getting a copy in the first place. You were kind of guaranteed it. There was no way you could have read it unless you had an ARC or you'd pre-ordered the audiobook that had happened to come out at the same time or whatever. So I think sometimes, don't be too hard on yourself on stuff like that, because I think authors are excited not just to hear that you've read their book and that you loved it, but that you're excited to read it as well. I think that's always an underrated thing, because they've worked really hard on it up until this point and they're starting to see it in people's hands, and that can be quite overwhelming anyway. So just knowing that someone's excited to read it is enough.
Yeah, I think it's like a little bit of imposter syndrome, because you're there and there's many people that have read the books. When you're queuing or whatever, people have like these old copies that they've read many times. Sometimes, like it happened when I went to see Jonathan Stroud, and I wanted to read the Lock and Key books, but I had the Lockwood and Key books, but I hadn't started yet. And Lockwood and Co. I'm confusing Lock and Key and Lockwood and Co. Anyways, but and I felt kind of weird because I'm like, I really want to read it, and I've heard it's really good, and I heard it's for me. But I felt weird going to him with the books without having read them. And now that I've read them and I love them, I'm excited to meet him again. I think it's this kind of imposter syndrome of seeing fans that have liked his books for years, and I'm just there like, hi. I haven't
To be
read your book.
fair, like I did get that when Lizzie and I went to go and meet Derek Landy at the Bath Waterstone signing. That was great, but I did like, even though we were doing the read along at the time, and you know we're both massive Derek Landy fans, there were people that had turned up there that had like grown up with his books, and there was like one person in front of us that had brought like 15 different books to be signed, whereas we were all getting the hardback of his newest release signed because that was part of the ticket price. And then I had managed to scrounge from Emma, who had never read it but had, I think they found it in a charity shop, one of the ARC copies of the original Skullduggery Pleasant, like the first one. So I brought that with me. And he was like, oh, these are like a rare sighting. I don't see these very often. And it was like a really nice like little moment to like chat to him about it. But I get it, because I think even in that, I knew I was a fan. I'm a big fan of his writing. It was nice to chat to him. I find it super overwhelming talking to people that I admire anyway. Like I was very much just stood there like dumbfounded. And he was such a gentleman, because he was like, and did you have a question for me? And I was like, yeah, of course I've got a fucking question for you. I've been thinking about it all goddamn day. I'm just like blanking because you're here in front of me and you're a hero. And he was just like really nice about it and stuff. Obviously, Lizzie, when you met him, you came in with the sass, and I appreciate and respect it.
I did. The thing is, my question was very pointed, and it was about a very pointed thing. And I was like, you need to stop doing this to these characters. Like, so I was sassy, but I think I either cover up nerves by either shutting down completely, saying nothing, or just being like, you know what? No, I'm going to be way over the top.
Like, it was still polite, and I think it was the fact that you were like, I love these characters, stop hurting them, which I think he respected it. I think he respected it. So, but no, he's a great person. So I think, yeah, I get that, and I think sometimes even if you've read the book, you can feel that kind of imposter syndrome. I mean, as a writer, I feel it. Like, it's really bizarre at the moment. We've got a read through of the play that I wrote on Sunday, and people keep telling me that they like this play, and I keep just going, because like, what else do I say? Like, I don't know. It's weird. So I think, yeah, I think even if you just rock up and tell someone you're excited about reading their book, that's plenty.
But it's like, you know, for example, if I would have gotten like All That's Left in the World, if I wouldn't have read it beforehand, I would have been so mad at myself, because for me now it's a favorite and I gave it 5 stars and I love it. And now I'm so excited that I get to meet him with the knowledge that I have. Whereas if I would have read it afterwards, I would have been like, oh, I wish I could have told him, you know, like how much I loved it. Or I wish I could have asked him something, or, you know, because now he's writing a sequel and stuff. And it might not happen for all books, but for that one, now I'm really glad that I read it.
But also, like, it's great that, like, for example, if you'd gone before you'd read it, but you've got your copy signed, now you can be happy. Like, even if you have no other chance to meet that author, you have a signed copy that's personalized to you already, so you have that. And personally, I love to go to a book event not having read the book, because then, like, if you don't buy a ticket that has the book included, you can be like, oh, actually, now I love the sound of this. Now I'm going to buy a book. And now I'm contributing to, I don't know, early sales or whatever. But it is harder to spend money on a book event when you haven't read the book.
But if it's an author that you like, I think that's I'm more inclined to do that if it's like an author or a publisher that I trust. I think if it's an event from like that, then I'm far more inclined, even if I haven't read the book. I don't think I've been to a single signing where I haven't read at least something of the author, and it's why when I was at Yauk last year, I didn't bother going to any of the signings, because I hadn't actually read any of the books. And I think I love that, obviously, Kashi, you're like reading the books for the authors you want to see, and I know that there's loads of booktubers that will make a full-on TBR of every book they need to read before they can go and see these authors. And I love that as a challenge, because I think even just picking up books of authors you've not read before is fantastic. I just did not have the time. Like last year, I just didn't. And I was like, I'm not going to get in the way of people that are super, super excited to see these authors, because I'm already so overwhelmed by everything that's going on. I'm not going to queue up to talk to an author I know nothing about.
Yeah. To be fair, when I went to Yauk last year, I listened to Juno Dawson speak on a panel. So then I went and bought one of their books after hearing them speak, because I was like, I had heard, obviously, I've heard of Juno Dawson, but I'd never really had that much interest in their books. But just hearing them talk about their book, I was like, well, now I'm interested in what you have to say.
Yeah.
So I think like with stuff like Yalk, you can be introduced to new authors that way as well. But yeah, no, I really like events where you can talk about stuff like that, get recommendations and everything.
I think conventions like Yalk and like BookTube Meetup and things like that are the best for them because, yeah, as you said, you just hear from so many different people. Then you're not spending money on a ticket for something you're not sure about, but you can like sample. It's like the anthology, but an event version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like I bought a lot of books that I hadn't read or from authors I didn't know, or maybe I had heard of, but I hadn't read the books yet. And I was still excited, to take them home and then read them later. I tried to buy everything that was either thriller or horror, but also I got other ones that normally I wouldn't pick up. And it's also nice because maybe I force myself to read other genres that I normally don't pick up. But I see other people talking to me about them, pitching the books to me, and then I get excited about it. And then I also try different things. And I don't know, I enjoyed it. I went to a lot of signings though, because I was like, since I'm already here. And also last year I didn't know many people at Yalk yet, only like Amy and another couple of people, but they were busy because they were on the authors side and doing panels and stuff. So I was entertaining myself just to going by to signings and buying more books. so
It's easily done. The other thing I really liked about Yalk was talking to the editors that had worked on certain things. Like there was a couple from on the Hodder table, and I was talking. I'd spoken to one of them before randomly down in Kent, like a few months beforehand. And she just happened to recognize me as I was walking past, and I was talking to her about like, okay, if you were going to sell me a book, which one of these is your favorite? Like the one that you're like most excited because you worked on this. And that's how I picked up The Darkening by Senyora Mara, which I really enjoyed. And I don't understand why more people aren't talking about it, because it has it feels like it was written in the same world as Shadow and Bone. It has that kind of like high fantasy, fast-paced vibe to it, but then it also has Muslim and like Arabian style mythology, which is really like and just like really fun. And I'm so surprised more people haven't picked it up, to be honest, because it's great. So I was like, I was sold because they were excited because they'd worked on it.
yeah.
I probably wouldn't have heard about it beforehand or after because no one's talking about it, but I think it's great.
That's how I found the other ones. I think it's called. It's this kind of Halloween like queer book. I think it's from Chicken House. Because I saw that they had like this I think it was bookmarks and stuff. The book was not out yet, but I picked up the bookmarks. They told me it's like Gilmore Girls meets like ghosts and like spooky stuff, and I'm like, I'm buying that book. So when it came out I bought it. Like that's also how sometimes you come across things that you might enjoy, like talking also to them. And I always ask them, do you have any like thrillers, horrors coming up, something that might be more up my alley and stuff. But I'm open to other things as well. I was really excited last year because also Beth, is it Rickles or Rickles? I don't know. The one that wrote The Kissing Booth, because I really enjoy The Kissing Booth, and I told her, oh, it's like a comfort read for me because I read it many times just for comfort. I know, it's not like the best love story ever. It's problematic at times, but for me, it's a comfort read. So I didn't tell her all of that, but I told her it's a comfort read for me, and she wrote something like enjoy your comfort read, or something like something more personal to me. That's nice for me as well. So yeah, I don't know, I kind of wanted this year to read more before I go, but I haven't read everything yet. But I read a couple books, so at least some. And Rosie Talbot, I also finally read 16 Souls. I met Rosie for the first time last year there, and now she's going as an author, so I really wanted to read the book before going there. I don't know, I just thought it would be nice to already read the book, but we'll see. Good night. Yeah, I think we should go to the last sprint. For me, it's already 11. So
I think I might have to dip out.
That's
Though,
okay.
I have a long day tomorrow.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for the sprints. It was
And I'll see you soon.
soon for sure.
Good night. Okay, for everybody else, we're gonna do the last 40-minute sprint. And I'll see you in 40 minutes.
See you in a bit.
Hello. You're still all awake.
Just about.
Just about. How did you do, Lizzie?
I read another like 25, 30 pages because I got distracted by Facebook videos for about 10 minutes. It's I don't know what to say about this book because like it's just it gets weirder every time, just like how okay everyone is with these things, and like because they're different perspectives. I'm like, you're all getting real comfy with this, and I don't know who's weirder, the people who have them or the people controlling them. Like, I don't know who I'm creeped out by more because, like, I even think, okay, well, the people watching them are genuinely more creepy, but then the people who are being watched does something weird, and I'm like, why would you do that? You know that someone
Why
else,
would you do that?
but like, genuinely, like, why? You know, someone's watching you, like,
Mhm. Or do you forget about it, unconsciously? Do you think you, like, at
Yeah,
some
I
point
mean,
forget?
one of them had literally just said like she forgets sometimes that it's there,
Mm.
but I'm just like, I hate it. Like, thanks, I hate it.
Well, sometimes things I hate it means you're enjoying the book.
Oh no, I'm enjoying it, but I'm
Yeah.
like, why do these people do these things? And I'm like, whatever happens to this thing, they all deserve it. In my mind, like, I'm just waiting for like it to be like less kind of creepy and my kind of more like actual spooky stuff happening because like it's just a bit unsettling at the moment.
Mm.
I want everything to kind of turn to shit quite quickly. But like I'm 23% of the way in now, like so I think it is gonna kick it up a notch soon.
Okay.
I get the feeling that it's all gonna kind of turn from being unsettling to being awful.
Mm.
My favorite perspective at the moment is the old lady because she just doesn't know what she's doing, and like I just think she's hilarious because she has to keep on texting her son to be like, "How do I do these things?"
Is she's being watched, I guess? It's my guess.
No, she's a
Oh,
watcher.
she's paying. I
Her
see.
son bought her like to be able to watch, and like because she just genuinely doesn't know what she's doing with this thing, and it's adorable. It's just old people and technology, and I'm like, that's a mood, isn't it?
I don't know. I bought that book because I'm really intrigued about the concept, because I don't know. It sounds like potentially something that could happen, to be honest. Like, I don't see it being so weird in
Well,
the future.
I read obviously Black Mirror did a episode where like the Furbies, like it feels like that
Yeah.
episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Like the more I'm reading it, oh, this is that Black Mirror episode. Like I'd be surprised if the creators of Black Mirror hadn't known about this book.
Yeah.
Because I think they came out the same year. I have a feeling. But it feels very much like that episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that as well.
Like,
So
I'm starting to use more TikTok now, and sometimes I'm scrolling and I see people doing certain like lives, and I'm like really weird stuff, and things that I'm like, why do you people want to see this? Like, what's
It's
the
the
point?
sleeping ones. It's the I can't fathom
Yeah.
that. Why would you have a live show of just you sleeping?
Or pretending to sleep, or I fell asleep like playing video games or stuff like that, or it's so like so weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I enjoy a lot of aspects about TikTok, and then others I'm like, why? Why are people actually watching this? There is this weird woman that is like, she's like, oh, I'm here for emotional support, and all she does is move like this to people to share their stories and their struggles and stuff in the comments. She doesn't even talk. She's just so weird. It's like people, I don't know. So I don't think this book concept is so weird. I think it's very believable. But anyway, how did you do, Hannah?
I finished my Bookish Broads book.
Yeah.
What's really
What book
interesting
count?
is like considering it's like this is a celebration of history's female trailblazers, etc. So there's like loads of really interesting women in here, and then right at the end, it's got J.K. Rowling and
Oh.
Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who have actively said that they're TERFs, and I'm just like, actually, in hindsight, I feel like there was a lot of opportunities to talk about non-binary and trans
Yeah.
women who also contributed. I really like the fact that there are openly BIPOC rep in this, but the LGBT felt missing, and then I was like, yeah, that's why. I kind of so it got 3 stars. It was fine. There's some authors in here that I definitely want to check out more writing of.
I like this.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Wow.
Oh, there she is.
Unexpected.
To be fair, any Harry Potter reference now is a jump scare. It's any book. It's like, oh god, what are you doing here? Especially if it's one that's been published in 2022 or 2023. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Please leave.
I know there were Harry Potter references in Red, White, and Rare Blue, and they removed them on the newer prints. So, which is fair. So they have Star Wars stuff references, but no longer Harry Potter.
Which we're here for. Love it at Star Wars. Yeah. But there you go. That's 2 books that I finished today.
Fantastic.
And then I made Zach start reading the one that I finished earlier. I don't think he wanted to. I don't think he's really enjoying it, but it entertains me that he just picked it up because I told him to. So
he's not reading the book he's supposed to be reading then?
No, he finished that one, and we're going to read the other one tomorrow anyway. And that's what I said. It's we were going to do those chapters tomorrow anyway.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I read 60 pages of The House in the Woods by Yvette Fielding. And so far, so good. The only thing is, I think sometimes I overthink or my logic kicks in too much with middle grade books. It's basically 3 friends that want to do something really spooky for Halloween night. So they decide the best thing they can do is meet at go to an abandoned house in the middle of the woods that's supposed to be haunted and use a Ouija board, as you do. And so the thing is, they tell their parents, they all lie, and they all tell their parents separately that they're going trick-or-treating, but there's no mention of costumes. They just mention they're wearing beanies and jackets, and then when they return from the haunted house, there's no candy. I'm thinking, what's your alibi here? It's you're telling your parents you're going trick-or-treating, but the author doesn't describe any costumes, and she says they're wearing beanies and jackets because it's cold. And then they come back from this house, and there's no mention of any candy or anything. If you went trick-or-treating, don't your parents expect you to bring candy back? I don't know. It's just my logic's kicking in, But apart from that, it's fun because now that they're back from the haunted house and they did use the Ouija board and they did make contact with some sort of ghost or something, now weird things are starting to happen in each house now that they're back with their family. So I'm interested to know if the ghost is now attached to them for some reason because they use the Ouija board or whatever. So on that aspect, I like it, but it's just my logic. Sometimes I'm
it happens. Yeah, sometimes. And I think sometimes books just don't work hard enough to keep you there sometimes.
Yeah. I'm just I was expecting, for them to have a stronger alibi. If you say you're trick-or-treating and nobody's dressed up and you don't bring candy back,
unsuccessful.
Okay. I mean, maybe your parents buy it, but I don't know. But yeah, let's see if anybody's still awake over here. Abby left.
Delicious.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, I feel for me with sprints also, I force myself to read more chunks at one sitting without scrolling through my phone or stuff that, getting distracted. So they do help me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm why do people even tune in? I don't know. Oh, interesting. Yeah, there's 3 books out. I have 1 and 2. The third one just came out a month ago or something. But I really want to read it as well. I want to read the trilogy and then make my own opinion. But sometimes I think I overthink. Also with thrillers or mysteries, I'm always looking for all the little details and things instead of just maybe enjoying the ride, That's just my brain.
I think with Yvette Fielding, I have a very much I remember her from Most Haunted. She used to do the TV show here in the UK, and I watched that when I was younger, and we rewatched a couple of episodes like last month, didn't we, Hannah?
We
And
did.
it just wasn't very good. So now I have this like real like view of Yvette Fielding from that show. So I don't know. I don't know how I'd react like if I met her. Which be like,
I don't know the show, so I'm good. I'm good for now. But yeah, but I do the same. Yes, I do the same with movies. Like I'm in the cinema and I'm like, that glass was not there in the like. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
like inconsistencies. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like so annoying with that because I see every little thing. Like, wait a second, when we
My
like
brother's the
supposed to
same.
visit that, you know?
Yeah. My brother's really good for spotting those. What are they called? The inconsistencies in films.
Yeah,
Continuity errors.
yeah, stuff like that. I see a lot of things or things that don't make sense, and sometimes my boyfriend is like, why do you pay attention to these things? Why like? And I'm like, I can't stop myself. Like he's like, you overthink too much. Just enjoy the movie. And I'm like, but these things bother me. It's like you don't understand. My brain cannot stop it. But yeah. Okay, let's see what else. Nice.
I think tiredness
Yeah.
is definitely a factor. Like I'm genuinely
Yeah.
falling asleep.
Wait a second. We'll say goodbye. Okay. There we go. We'll see if it gets better. I mean, it's a trilogy for now. I don't know if she plans on doing more, but I'm definitely interested in it. I want to know what happened with the ghosts that they summoned with the Ouija board and stuff. It's just the thing with the Halloween costumes threw me off a little bit because I'm like, who's gonna believe this? But anyway, it's just my brain. Anyway, you guys, we're gonna disconnect. It's also nearly 12 o'clock for me, midnight.
It's
Gotta
way
wake up
past
early
that
tomorrow. Yeah.
crazy Monday evening.
I know.
Yeah.
We've got a whole work week to get through now, guys.
Oh no, because I only work tomorrow and then Wednesday I'm on a train to London.
Okay, well, you get to enjoy yourself. I have a whole work week.
I only have 2 days working week, so it's great for me. All right. Thank you, girls, for coming.
Thanks for having
Thank you
us.
so much. Thank you, everybody in the comments that made it alive, not asleep. And we'll see you in the next one. I think it's on the 22nd because I'm going to be on holiday, so I'm not going to be able to do anything in betweens. Yeah, Yelk next week. Yes, I'll be there. I can't wait. I'm so sad you guys are not coming, by the way, next year. Next year we have to
Next year we'll be there.
Let's make it happen.
I had every intention of going back when it was in the summer, but because I've got to prep stuff for BookTube Meets, which is the week after, I just don't have time.
Yeah, we had book hotel and train for summer, and then we had to see if we could change everything because they changed it, and we were like, oh shit. So yeah, we had to change everything. But anyways, next year we have to make a BookTube meeting over there.
Next year.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Good night, everybody. Bye. Go.